I'm sitting here getting ready to watch a episode of Loki. I need to catch up. There's other things I need to watch because I'm supposed to be watching a series with Dr. Gigi. I think it's called The Wheel of Time. We're supposed to do a blow by blow series episode review of The Wheel of Time. So it's gonna be interesting doing it with somebody that's a doctorate in philosophy and catch their view on how they see things, how they see the world. So, but this morning talk, man, is really about this table stuff that I'm getting sick of. Now, I know I probably shouldn't be bringing it up, but it's starting to irritate me. It really is. So let's get the elephant in the room. Let's get him out of the way, right? Let's go ahead and point to him real quick. BGS is not trying to lead nobody nowhere. Never was. And the people that have really recognized what I'm trying to do, that try to do what I'm trying to do, it will tell you, I'm not telling you what to think. I'm trying to train you how to think, how to look at things. That's why I go blow by blow, example by example, trend by trend, to point to the trends that occur in social society, our society, the global society, what elements go into it, and how these people come up with policy. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to tell you what you should do, what you shouldn't do, how you should live your life, or anything else like that. People get on me about agreeing with tricking. I grew up in the crack era. Tricking, just like women dating drug dealers, was common. It was like the thing to do, okay? Because it was available, it was cheap, and everybody was doing it. So people get upset about that. I said, if a guy can find happiness in doing whatever he does, and he's not hurting anyone, then I have no problem with it. I don't care if my brother's been married to a Filipina for 35 years. My son dates Latinas, okay? He's married to, his first wife is a mulatto. She's a mixed girl. And his mother's dark as the ace of spades. I am Pan-African. I am pro-black. I am a nationalist. I'm conscious community. That I've been in that sector for 30, 35 years. I'm known by my real name in that sector. So as far as that is concerned, I've been there, done that, had the t-shirt. I've been on the right wing. I've sat in on guys that were considered militia, right-wing militia, because I've been in those meetings. I've talked to those people. I've been in those meetings. I've also been KPFK left-wing progressive, and that's why I call some of those left-wingers limousine liberals. So I've been in all these places because I never judge. I don't care. I'm a Gnostic. My teacher was deeply steeped into Pan-Africanism, pro-blackism, as you call it, conscious community, all the other stuff that you see these people in their little turbans and dashikis and stuff wearing that they're into. I was deeply into that kind of stuff. Still am to a point. I just don't advertise it. But I've never judged people for what they do because I know as a Gnostic, you know that people find their own route to happiness, and there's more than one way. There's more than one name of God. There's more than one spiritual path, and there's more than one path to happiness. So I don't judge. So I'm not trying to lead anybody anywhere. I just saw one of the brothers that accused me of what they call SBE and leading people back in table talk and leading them back into weakness. Just quote something I've been saying for years about black marriage. Saying it for years. Say it all the time. People take exception to it when I say it. But I'm saying all that to say this. I'm not trying to lead black men nowhere. I'm not trying to lead black men nowhere. I'm trying to point out different ways of making their lives better. That's it. Point blank, period. Now that that's out of the way, my next point is about the table. The table is a metaphor. That should be obvious. There is no physical table. Ain't no contracts, ain't no signed documents, ain't no conferences. It was never that. You can have, if you don't believe me, ask Obsidian, because he's the one that came up with the concept. He's the one that came up with the concept. And he's the one that says that that's already been achieved. The table is already there. We call it the purple pill space for lack of a better term. Why? Because women can't take the whole red pill. They can't. They can't gobble the red pill. They lose their freaking minds. It has to be softened. You get basically you're interjecting red pill information into a blue pill space. That's really all it is. Trying to pump some reality in what we call the matrix, in the standard way of the way people think, the way you've been socialized. That's all a purple pill space is, because women, especially black women, because their emotionality and their delusional way of thinking, they can't take the whole truth in a big dose. They'll go nuts. But Kevin showed that the purple pill space, in a sense, made money and was popular. And it's what a lot of men and most women ask for, especially the black ones. It's called dialogue. And you can pop up on any particular day. If you put it into the algorithm, Google will start showing you tons and tons and tons and tons of people in a purple pill space. Our so-called saints, okay? One of the manosphere's so-called favorite white girl, right? Pearl. Pearl is their purple pill space. She's pumping red pill knowledge into a blue pill sector. It's a purple pill space. And she's got almost 2 million subscribers. Kevin has almost 2 million. We Need to Talk, which is Obi. Obi's a purple pill space. The Peef Network's purple pill space, which is the table. Our favorite girls in the manosphere. The Breakdown with Sister George and Concrete Rose, that's the purple pill space. That's the table. You're having dialogue between black men and black women on a daily basis, sometimes an hourly basis, because they're making money out of it. Every time I look up, man, there's some new people getting on YouTube with mics and a couch, and with women on one side and men on the other having dialogue. That's the table. Now, you don't have to physically go to the table to fuck around and find out. You can actually just listen. A lot of you guys subscribe to places like this because I constantly get hit up with, BGS, have you checked this person out? Have you checked that person out? What about these people? What about these people? I see them on TikTok. I see them on Instagram. I see them on Twitter. And it seems like there's a new one every day. That is the table. That is the dialogue. It's already there. I don't have to bring anybody to anywhere, right? Kevin, he pierced that veil. He pierced that glass ceiling. It's wide open. Everybody's doing it, of all different races, creeds, colors, nationality. O'Shea does it on his Kinganda channel with African females and ADOS males on a continuous basis. That's the table. It's already happened. You don't have to physically go there. You don't have to physically negotiate with women. I don't have to bring women on my channel. All I have to do is show a video, put it in my community tab, point people to it. Y'all gonna go to it anyway to see what's up. You can hear from the women themselves, what time they're on, how they feel, what they think about, and they do it on a continuous basis, which is why the black females hated Pearl, because you had black females, UK females, not even American, UK females, black females spilling their guts and telling the truth, which is supposed to be secret, and being honest. I don't even got to do it. You got tons of females doing dating shows doing the exact same thing. The table is already there. I ain't got to do nothing. I don't have to point you to it. I don't have to drag you over there by the ear and have you listen in. You can listen in on your own and make your own choice. So I don't know what this question is about. Oh, BGS, what are the metrics? What does the table look like? So, I ain't gonna say it. Nimnot, you're looking at it. And if you don't have enough IQ points to know what you're looking at, you don't need to be here on my channel. So I was telling Big J Triple X, you don't need to be on my channel if you can't get it. If you can't get with it, don't come over here. It's like me walking into a nuclear physics class without the prerequisites. You ain't got time to shepherd me along and teach me basic math or basic concepts. I should have prerequisites. It's on the syllabus, what you're supposed to have before you even get to the class. And me complaining about it doesn't mean anything. Basically, I ain't got to teach you. If I feel generous and want to try to help you bring yourself up to speed, which is going to take years, I can do it if I feel generous. But if I don't feel generous, I'm under no obligation to bring you up to speed. If you don't understand it, you don't understand it. Trying to pick down what the metrics are, nobody asked you. Nobody asked you. If you're accurate, then everybody would know about it. You be the guru, and people would flock to you because you can point the way. You're 100% accurate, or 90% accurate, or 50% accurate. People would flock to it. People will take 10% if you're good at it. I don't have to prove myself in this sector. I don't know what part that you guys don't get. Now, when I first got here, you got to prove yourself. Obviously, people don't believe you, which I love. BGS, you're wrong. BGS, you don't know what you're talking about. BGS, you're full of it. A year later, BGS, you're right. What else you got? After 9 years, why do you think the hashtag BGS was right was invented? I didn't come up with that. I constantly get emails once a week. BGS, when you said blah 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 blah, you were right. Or BGS, you were right. Okay, what was I right about? Because I don't remember. I get that all the time. That's where the hashtag comes from. I didn't make these hashtags up. The name Master Teacher, I didn't give myself the name Master Teacher. That was given to me by Ron Wills. So if you want to blame somebody, blame him. He's the first person. He wasn't the first person. Actually, my mentor. Okay, we were given a speech. Okay, about family, and during the breakout, I had like 20 students around me, and we're just chopping up and talking. And my mentor, now she's a master teacher in her own right? She's got a PhD, she's written books, all kinds of stuff, right? And she said, and she was telling to one of the professors, so they said, why are all these kids around there? I said, because he's a master teacher. I did not give myself that name. I have tried to shun and push back on that name, but it still sticks. Once you get a nickname, it sticks. Okay, so I've given up on it. I just accept it. There are teachers that I go to. I just pointed to one of them, Master Yao, right? Okay, he's a master teacher. He's somebody I learn from all the time. I hold in high regard because he's doing that work. I don't claim the title. So BGS is not trying to lead you anywhere. I never have. From the very beginning of my channel, I always say, do not believe anything that I say. Whatever it is, whatever I put out, whether it's a book, whether it's an article, whether it's a subject, whether it's an opinion, whether it's a theory, find out for yourself. And for your own self, whether it's right, whether it's wrong, whether you're indifferent about it. My thing is to come debate with me, know what you're talking about. Bring something up, where'd you get that from? And pulling it out of your ass does not count. Well, I just feel that way. I don't care how you feel. Well, it's my life experience. I don't even know who you are, where you're located. I am not going to fly halfway across the country to spend a month in your surroundings, see whether you're right or wrong. So your personal surroundings, your personal life experience, I don't care about because we're on the internet. I don't know you. You can't prove in a debate that your life experience counts for anything because nobody knows what it is. I can't examine it. One chick tried to say that. Me and my girlfriends, this is what we believe, And that's what we encounter. I said, okay, well, go get your girlfriends, bring them up here. I'm not going to do that. Well, then don't use it as proof or as evidence, because it's not evidence. Hearsay. It's worse than hearsay. It's myths, because a lot of times when people say something and they believe something and they put it on the table as evidence, you take it apart, find out what they believed is not true. Your opinion of looking at the same events is not true. So when I pointed out, okay, what about this? What about this? What about this? It starts to fall apart. That's why I look at anything. I look at my own life that way. And some things I don't like. You know what? But is it enough for me to change what I'm doing? And some things make that grade where you have to change what you're doing because it's impacting your life. Okay. And some things, okay, that's part of your personality, and that's some of the downsides of it. And on balance, it's not enough for me to put enough energy into to change it right now. When I get to it, I'll get to it. And I'll take an L for it. Okay, I'll take an L for it. There's a lot of things in life I had to take an L for. Because the opposite of not taking that L and actually getting into it was probably far more detrimental to me and the people around me than taking that L. Taking the L is not bad. If it's strategic, it's not bad. Everybody takes L's. Okay, there's no 100% winners. If there were, you point me to them. A lot of your billionaires and millionaires went broke at least 2 or 3 times before they finally clicked on the right formula. That's common. That story is very common. How many times they actually went broke or slept in their car or damn near died of starvation until the turn happened, but they stuck to it. That's common. It's a common story. Everybody takes L's. But my job on these airwaves is to do the research. Now, you don't see all the mistakes that I make. I make mistakes. I just don't do them publicly because that's not my job. My job is not to display my mistakes or me being wrong. That's private. My thing is to take a theory, investigate it, find out whether it's right or wrong, and if I find something that's useful that is right, I bring it to you. If a theory is wrong and it fails, guess what? Ain't no sense in me bringing it to you. I could bring you a whole bunch of failures, a whole bunch of times I'm wrong. Okay, what good is it to you because the theory's wrong? The theory's wrong. There's countless times. Okay, the theory's wrong. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. So you push it aside and you try again. When you push it aside, you try again. Okay, does this make sense? Does this have legs? Is this something that is a trend going forward? And if it is, it's important enough to actually get on YouTube, get on the airwaves, get on social media, and tell them, hey, I found something. So by the time you hear me give you a theory, I've already done at least 3 months of research on it. And when somebody that has no idea what I'm talking about, because he feels a certain way, wants to get up and disagree, okay, you can disagree, and that's fine. Show me where you got it from. Well, BJ's, I ain't got to show you. I don't need no proof. Yes, you do. Well, why do I need proof? Because I just spent 3 months researching this stuff. I've just spent 6 months researching this stuff. I just spent 2 years looking at this. You want to walk in doing no work and debate. Get the entire fuck out of here. I do all this grinding, do all this work to come up with a theory and come up with information, and you want to walk in with nothing but what you're behind and debate and think that's going to go down that way and think that you can just come up with your life experience and nothing else. And that's supposed to fly with me. No, it doesn't fly with me. If you've done as much work as I have, then fine. Then I'll have respect for your opinion or a debate. If you did a lifetime and you got evidence and you've done reading and done personal research and interviews, stuff like that, I'm gonna sit down and listen, find out what you have. There's a whole bunch of PhDs, a whole bunch of people that have experience doing said job that I listen to. Why? Because you knocked your head up against this stuff. You know what you're talking about. I'm not going to tell a pimp how to find hoes. Okay, that's his stock and trade. I'm gonna listen because he's got evidence and empirical evidence of what he does, and he's probably gone to the books and all other kind of stuff trying to figure out why something happens. A lot of stuff I tell you, that's 30 years of research. My octanes are 30 years of research, of personal research, reading, talking to people, interviewing people, experimenting with this kind of stuff, right? With class systems, looking at psychology. I tested the octanes out on Facebook, and it worked. I used to have like 15, 20 women around me, and basically asking them questions and going through how how each class system actually works, right? These are women. Women. That's a funny thing. As far as octanes are concerned, women accept it far easier than men do. Women get it. I hardly ever get pushback with women about octanes. They internally understand it. Men push back on it because it's not as internal to us, even though we do it, but it's not as obvious to us. So when we talk about markers as far as progress, as far as the table is concerned, one, I didn't come up with the concept. Two, as far as the Black community, having dialogue, in my particular opinion, does it help? Yes. Is it going to fix it? Probably not. And I've said why I don't believe it can be fixed. Now, as a pro-Black Pan-Africanist that does this work in real life, and my mentor does this work in real life, just as a professional courtesy, I have to give out some kind of hope that it can be fixed, even though I know that it probably can't. And I used to weigh out all the reasons why I don't think it can be fixed. And I'll, just for shits and giggles, I'll enumerate them again. One, ADOS culture, Black American culture, Negro culture is artificial. Okay, it's been forged together by white people in America to organize their former slaves. You read Diane Williams' Black Women, Black Love, which I may do a review of on my women's channel because I'm getting tired of these questions, right? It's artificial. Number two, Jim Crow kept Black men and women together under force. That Black men could be lynched for going outside of the bounds of who they were supposed to be mating with, right? Anybody you caught with anybody else, them white boys could lynch you. So under duress, under force, under threat of death, they kept Black men in the pen up until the last, I'd say, 20, 30 years. Black men and women were forced together. Black women were forced with you because dating outside your race, being with white boys, for the vast majority means you're probably going to get assaulted and used and passed around. And back then, Black women knew that. They knew that they were the concubine class as far as white men were concerned. And white men would use them as unpaid prostitutes. They didn't like that deal. That's why they stuck with Black men. And they blamed Black men for not being able to protect them against white men. So they ain't that a kick in the head about swirlers. Number three, under Jim Crow, they kept the Black family together, forced them together, because once slavery was abolished, they still needed you to provide cheap labor to the industrial system. You can only do that in a family formation. In other words, you had to put men or women at the head of a family as a unit, as a work unit to produce. When Black men weren't married or didn't have a family or didn't produce on a farm, they put them in prison and had them produce in prison. That's what the Jim Crow laws were about. If you weren't working for a white man, producing for white America, they put you in jail and force you to produce under force, under duration, put you back into slavery to produce for them. So the black family was fraught with fragilities because one is artificial, two it's under duress, and it's forced to stay together under duress. What happens in the 1950s and 1960s when they don't need you on the farm anymore? That's what Monahan and Clark were trying to say. It's going to come apart, which it started to come apart. It started to degrade pretty rapidly because there was nothing external to keep it together. It's number three. Number four, okay? Number four, since 1890, the biggest thing about America and the black family was to have it disappear. The plan was always for you to be absorbed into the family of Americas so that your black culture would be integrated and absorbed into white America, broader white American scheme, right? There was always resistance up until the 1960s. After the 1960s and after Loving versus Virginia, okay, the plan was to absorb the black people into people of color. You do that by the women first if you can. If you can't, then by the men. Since our culture is upside down, it's a gynocracy. It's a gynocracy. Black women do not fit into white culture as easily as black men do. It's easy for a black man to date out. In most other cultures, it's easy for the women to date out. But under our culture, since it's upside down and black women run the culture, okay, which is not going to ride in most other cultures, black men are easier to absorb. And they have basically promoted that. You look at all the interracial movies, you look at all the interracial dating, you look at them putting you into proximity with white people, right? Separate schools was not about educating black people for the most part. White men knew that if you introduce black boys and little black girls to white boys and little white girls, you could actually integrate and marry. Move into the neighborhoods. The white girls are gonna find little black boys that are cute and marry them. They didn't want that. They wanted to keep the white race, quote unquote, pure. Once that was eliminated, the biggest factor of dating and mating is proximity. And since the 1970s, when they started busting little kids like me to little white schools, the interracial dating percentage has gone up every year. It seems like it's slow, but the thing is, it's very rapid compared to the way human beings do things. To now, where Generation Z, some 4 generations later, it's the interracial dating percentage will probably be 50%, which is where it is in the UK. We have finally caught up with the UK as far as dating, not marriage, but dating. So we're just about there, and probably it will be 70-80% by the time Generation A comes of age. I won't be around to see it, but the thing is, I do believe that's what's going to happen. So black people will become absorbed into people of color, which is the purview and the object and the objective of the United States. Moynihan said that integration is admixture. Moynihan said that at the end of the Moynihan report. Nobody reads that. So that's why the black family, in my opinion, cannot be fixed, because it's not supposed to be fixed. If they wanted it fixed, they know how to fix it. If they wanted it fixed, they'd have done exactly what Moynihan said. They would get a separate education system for black boys until they came up to speed. But nobody wants that. The white men don't want it. White women especially don't want it. And black women doubly especially don't want it. They do not want to give up control of the men or then their boys and have them be independent. That is an anathema to them. But that, like I said, that's the greatest trick that the devil pulled, to say that this doesn't exist. They deny it all the time, but it's true. They deny their love for white men until you start reading black feminist literature, and it's fraught with the love of white men. They said white men don't love them back. That's the problem. So to say that I believe that it can be saved, that would be false. Are there people that are still out there that hope that it can be saved? Yeah, we got them here. We need to talk. Okay. Well, they're not part of the black manosphere. I don't care whether they're part of the black manosphere. Go look at Anton Daniels, right? And his crew. Much bigger than mine. They believe in saving the black family. But the thing is, I get criticism. I got a quarter of, sometimes a tenth of some of these people. But I get all the flack. I can just lead people and have all this influence to lead black men, not just the black men in the manosphere, but the black men, period, into this death trap. Stupid. Most people, even people that are subs of mine, disagree with me. How am I going to lead people that disagree with me? And a lot of you cats that don't like me are still subs. Ain't that a kick in the head? But I am getting tired of this table talk. The table's already here. The table has been here since before Kevin. Kevin just enhanced the dialogue between black men and black women. And the thing is the money factor, because black women need to figure out how to compete in this environment, not just with black men, but also white men and other men. They need to know how to compete for mates in this environment. And they don't know how, because they never had to. That's why they flock. That's how come people like Cynthia G and Christy, all these people are failing. Now the whole world needs to figure out how to fix this. So the table, as we call it, is the least of your problems, is the least of your burdens. Grow up, figure something out, go forward instead of backwards. That's why I'm doing reviews of these so-called Manosphere 1.0 guys. Emotionally, a lot of guys love these guys, but the thing is, when you look at them through a critical lens, they're not saying anything revolutionary. They're saying it on a different platform, but it's not revolutionary. And to say what they're saying is superior is not true. Emotionally, it was first because it was YouTube, it was public. Even Susan Finker said the same thing, right? This information was suppressed. Now the information is not suppressed anymore because it's a social media, it's a public platform. And YouTube allows for long form discussions and interaction that is as neutral as you can get, even though they got their thumb on the scale for the other side. But I am going to shorten this up, and because I hate taking out the ums and ahs of a long video. But you guys said you guys like these morning talks, so here's another one. But with that, I am going to jump off here. This is BGS out, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.